Hi everyone, Alex Tardy here with Weather Echo, and we've got more insight for you. More tropical moisture, more showers and thunderstorms for California and parts of the Southwest. Yes, another storm coming in, and this does look like widespread showers and even thunderstorms with locally heavy rain. Let's take a look at this insight. Okay, the most recent storm, remember the rainfall we had that was predicted at least a week in advance between the 17th and 19th? It was widespread and it was locally heavy, and too much in some places with flash flooding in Southern California. Now, a large part of the Central Plains also had a lot of precipitation, as shown here, during that time frame. Dry in the Northwest. Okay, what's coming up with this next system? So taking a similar path, a upper low or a circulation is going to form, and this is happening right now, filling in the same place from the old storm from September 18th and 19th that's already left the area. It's going to fill that space in the Eastern Pacific and drop into the California Bight, Southern California. It's breaking away from the main jet stream, which is that black line. So it is cutting off. It's not only closed off, but it's also cutting off. Now, between the heat dome in Mexico and this circulation in the upper atmosphere, that's going to draw moisture back into Southern California. So this low pressure area aloft, upper part of the atmosphere, will be slow moving, and that circulation will bring moisture into the LA basin and even central California. So it looks like the brunt of this is going to be Monday night and Tuesday when the system and the moisture meet each other. Now also notice in the Central Plains, lower Great Lakes, and Tennessee Valley, that weak low pressure area in the upper part of the atmosphere is also going to produce a lot of rain and heavy. Now, you might be wondering why such weak weather systems. There's not a lot of gradient, there's not a lot of wind flow, there's no cold air. Well, we have a lot of moisture, and that makes a big difference even with a weak weather system. Now, moisture alone doesn't do it, but if you have the rising vertical motion in the atmosphere, that will cause cooling of the air, condensation, and when you have a lot of moisture, that happens quickly and easily at low elevations, and that'll produce your precipitation. Now, this is the moisture. So the moisture is dissipating across California now. That's the leftover tropical moisture. And there's a lot of moisture in Southern California near the Mexico border still. So on Sunday and Monday, that moisture is just going to be sitting there even though central northern California dry out. The green shaded is moisture or water vapor more than usual, above average. Now, in that low pressure area in the upper part of the atmosphere, the winds between 10 and 20,000 feet start to interact, start to intercept, start to suck in that moisture. That is when we're going to start seeing showers and thunderstorms developing. So that'll occur late on Monday and, of course, on Tuesday when that low pressure system in the upper part of the atmosphere is right over Southern California. This is not the same as like a low pressure system you see in the Northeast, like they call a nor'easter. This is not the same as a low pressure system you see with a tropical cyclone. This is in the mid and upper part of the atmosphere. This is a lot like what you see in the monsoon flow, but this is not monsoon. So the green shaded, focused on LA basin, is unusual amounts of moisture, and you have that vertical motion and lift from this storm system. Now, by late Tuesday into Wednesday, the storm system slowly drifts over central California, so that'll draw moisture all the way up into the central coast and central California. Then you'll see drier air coming in from the south across Southern California. So this is how it looks like with the slow movement. So with slow movement, that also means you get repeated showers, and if any thunderstorms occur, you get really heavy rain, rather than a system that's moving through rapidly. Okay, this is the precipitation outlook. Now don't focus on the actual values and numbers, but some big rain for the central part of the United States, lower Great Lakes, Missouri, Tennessee Valley, large area there. You see the Gulf moisture slides up right into that weak storm system. Now, in the west, we also have a weak upper low, and our tropical moisture will produce that green you see there and locally heavy rain Monday through Wednesday of next week. All right, how are we doing so far? Well, we've had a weak monsoon, and that is evident over the Great Basin where it's been drier than normal. but with these several tropical moisture surges, these weak upper lows since late May. Yeah, you can track back on Weather Echo blogs and see the storms since late May. And we've had several. And they've effectively produced above normal precipitation in parts of Southern California, especially in the deserts and even in the Sierra Nevada, and then parts of Northern California and Oregon. Now, the Central Plains have also been wet, very dry in the corner region. That would be the Pacific Northwest and New England, as shown here. Now, for temperatures, it's been much warmer than average and persistent upper level ridge over the Pacific Northwest, as shown here. Actually, with the wet conditions and only a couple big heat waves, cooler than average across much of Nevada and Southern California. And you can see pockets of cooler in the southeast part and the central part of the United States where a lot of precipitation occurred. Look at that, warmer than normal though for the Pacific Northwest, really evident this summer. Now, if we look at the water year, so back to October 1, a lot of people ask me, why do you use October 1 and not January 1? Because our storm cycle, especially in the West, has nothing to do with the calendar year. So when we look back, our storm system typically develops in October and November. That's when the storm track starts getting active. Now, we're just in the transition right now. So this is not unusual to have Pacific storm systems breaking off and moving into California this time of the year. But a lot of times they're dry. Other times, historically, we've seen massive thunderstorm development. And like recently and coming up, we see widespread precipitation when that moisture from the south meets up with it. That's the key. You have to have the two meet together. So where has it been wet? Well, far northern California, really Oregon, a very small corridor had several atmospheric rivers last winter, and they've also been wet this summer, remember? Same with the Midwest, the Central Plains. They've been wet this summer, and really wet in some cases, extending back to last year. It's been drier, not only last winter, but this summer across the Northeast, as shown here. Look at the Southwest. That's why we've dealt with such an early significant fire season. It wasn't just that the monsoon was weak. We had a really dry, rainy, wet season from 24 to 25. So they're really connected. The summer monsoon and also the season that we call the rainy season or the water year or the main storm track year that we see between November and March. So despite these recent wet conditions in our deserts and mountains, we are overall very dry. So vegetation is still dry. We need more rain is the bottom line. Now look at the temperatures. So you can see the water year is not as evident as the summer, but we can see there's pockets of much warmer from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to Texas as shown here. Now really the whole country this water year, except a couple isolated green spots there, were a little bit above normal. So a mild water year. All right, we hope you enjoyed this insight. Get ready for more rain, showers, and thunderstorms for central, especially southern California. And tune in to our blog and check out our real-time information on X as well. We're also posting short videos on YouTube and on TikTok. Again, check out our blog if you want more details on the most recent storm or any storm. Thanks for joining.